Hi guys, welcome to the Stage Performance Podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to the Stage Performance Podcast. So today I had the pleasure of speaking with singer and performer Cammy. So Lee is one of the busiest entertainers across Scotland, and what surprised me in this conversation was that initially I set out to ask him about what he does and all the events that he plays and his experience as a performer. But what was very clear to me throughout the conversation was how much he cares about the people in his life. And we had a really fascinating conversation about how challenging it can be for entertainers to balance the work life and the personal life and to spend more time with the people that they care about. So have a listen. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure.
No, I appreciate it because I know how much of a busy guy you are, so really
It's weird
appreciate
seeing
your
you
time.
without a saxophone around you.
Yeah. It's funny, a few folk have said that since I've started doing this. You see pictures, and it made me realise as well, I don't have any pictures of myself without a saxophone.
No, I've noticed that as well. I love your video, see your dance video with the dancers and all that.
Yeah,
You're
Nitros.
just- mhm.
Do you know, that was a while ago actually, that was quite a while ago, but it's probably one of the things I'm most proud of.
For such a shy guy, you're quite ballsy when it comes to stuff like that. aren't you?
Well, do you know, it's so funny because you're a perfect example of this. See, you have your kind of like stage performance. It's called Stage Performance Podcast, that's so bad. You have your kind of character that you are on stage. And before I actually knew you as a person, I'd seen you kind of perform. And I think you tend to associate who you are as a person with your kind of persona on stage. Like a lot of people can
I
do
think
that.
that's more like riddled with ADHD. But
Yeah.
when you're on stage, I think a lot of people are the same. It's like a character that you portray, sort of thing, but not in an acting sense. It's more like just you get that, you enjoy it that much that you just get totally wrapped up in it all.
There's that, but I also thought it was quite easy for me to pretend to be confident because I didn't say anything, right? So all you had to do is wear the shades and a bit like that, but it's one of those ones that whenever I spoke at first on a mic, I always just got really nervous. I'm still quite like that. You're so good at it and I envy that skill.
No, I remember, I think it was it Dion Hickey? It was
That's right,
one
yeah.
of your first ever gigs.
That's right, yeah.
And you just stood there right in the middle, and there was all these girls around you and all
Petrified,
that.
yeah.
People were loving you. People were like Matthew Ruddy Daft, but you just looked like a fish out the water. And then seeing you years later and working with you when we done the gig in 26 Hope Street and all that, it's just like it's like, who are you?
Well, it's funny because I remember that gig and I was super nervous for it because it's the first time I'd ever done anything like that
It was
before.
massive as well, and
Right,
it's massive.
yeah. You go into this place and the lights are like so much brighter than anything you've ever seen. You've got like the dancers, you've got like the buff bodybuilders, and I felt like this 12-year-old that had just walked into the wrong
Then
room.
there was me
kind of
without a belt.
thing. Yeah, but it's funny how much time passes. You don't feel it at the time. But then you look back and you think, oh my gosh, like those videos were so long ago, those gigs were so long ago.
It was only yesterday I was talking to DJ Chris Taylor, one of the guys who kind of helped me get kick-started in entertainment, and we were talking about a karaoke gig. Now, Chris Taylor is one of the best DJs you'll ever see in your life, but you gave him a microphone and tell me to sing a song, you're better just leaving there than turning the mic off and going, get yourself up the road. But and I was like, oh, it was about 5-6 years ago you done that, and he's like, nah mate, that was like 10 plus.
Really?
And then when you look back, you're like, you do that much, but because you're that constant all the time, you forget.
I think especially for you, because you constantly live in the fast lane, and it's like
no anymore. That's,
No.
the days are done as of today. We've done it.
as of today. It's funny because you were there for probably one of my first gigs, but I wasn't there for yours. So when did you really start kind of
'Cause it was
performing?
like Coatbridge Indoor Bowling Club.
No way.
Aye.
That's just around the corner from me.
Aye.
That's
Is it up
insane.
this neck of the woods?
Yeah,
Is
it's really not that far
Is it near
away.
the Chinese down the road?
I don't know. I can't. What Chinese
I
is
tell
it?
you, I was close.
Yeah, it's really, really close. You're talking 50 minutes tops, more likely 10.
Yeah. It was. Do you know? It was weird because like there's a photo somewhere, and I brung my PC, and it was this big massive thing. Like I was surprised it didn't have the box at the back, but it was like a touchscreen PC, and I thought it'd been really cool.
Yeah.
And like drag and drop the tunes and all that. Because at the time it was like, I didn't know how to mix or anything, and I was doing a 40th birthday party. and I had a big table. The table was bent, and I had the two Mackie Thump speakers that were thinging in, and I had a Maplin. Remember Maplin? Are you too young for Maplin?
Yeah.
Maplin. It was like a £25 light, and then another £25 light. But that £25 light I got a Lenny off of somebody else, and they were like, "You can keep that. That's for your future." I've still got it to this day, right? Somewhere. Does it work? Probably not. So sorry, Davey. But and when you look back, see if I walked into that party and I'd seen that now, I'd be going, I hope he's just started it, because that is atrocious. Wires everywhere, cables, everything. But it was really good, because 10 years later, I've actually done. It was through COVID. I done the 50th birthday party in their back garden.
Right.
And it was weird because I'd brung the decks, and the guys were like, Jesus Christ, Cammy, you can actually do something now instead of just sitting behind a big computer. And I was like, oh no, they couldn't remember. That was so embarrassing for the rest of their life. They'll have the photos of that.
Do you ever have those gigs that you did years ago that you were really embarrassed by, and then you run into them again, and it can be quite kind of comforting because they never view it with the same kind of disdain that you might?
I don't really get embarrassed by stuff, because
I envy that so much.
you don't at the time, like, because I talk myself out of being embarrassed and all that with stuff.
How do you do that?
Just go, it could be worse. It could be worse. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the times it couldn't be worse, but you will find anything to pull yourself out of that situation. Yeah. However, I think everything's a lesson. So see if you do something and you know that you've kind of done stuff wrong, you try and ensure that the next gig, you make sure that doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? And that you're only as good as your last gig. You can only improve more from your last gig as well, unless you get complacent.
Yeah. It's funny, complacency, because I think on one hand you've got two extremes. You have like getting really nervous for everything, and then you have like apathy at the gig, and you're like, I don't care. You have those two types of people, and I feel like you can get complacent in either one of those. So it's always good to try and get as close to that middle, where it's like, not even if you don't feel nerves as such, I feel like you're always going to be naturally more one or the other. You're either going to.
However, I really do strongly feel when you don't kind of get nervous or even get excited for a gig, that's when you know there's a problem. There's been times where I've been going to a gig and I'm like, I can't be arsed in this. And then I start to feel bad, because I'm like, but this client's paying a lot of money for me. They've been looking forward to it. They've probably been telling their pals, oh, I've got this entertainer, I've seen them, really enjoyed them, I can't wait for them to do their party. And I'm going up there doing it half-arsed. And it's like you need to give yourself a kick up the backside and start looking forward to that. And obviously for a business perspective as well, if you're going into a gig and you're doing a gig and you don't do it to 100%, the probabilities of someone else booking you for you to keep generating income for doing something you love is less than just giving it full beans. Do you know what I mean?
Do you ever feel that pressure that you have to maintain like a persona as such? Not so much a consistently good performance, but like I think for you have this kind of unique thing because everyone knows you as being hyper extrovert. You know, they don't know what you're going to do next. I remember when we played in Hope Street for the first time and you were like jumping on tables and stuff like that, and I was like, I have no idea what he's going to do next. And then you picked me up and put me on your shoulder.
That was really sore because I remember you hit me with a saxophone at the top of my head and it was cut.
I wasn't fighting. Was it?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I was going to claim you to Digby Brown.
Oh no.
No, I'm only kidding.
All right.
I don't know. I'm just a crackpot, man. Like, I don't actually see when I'm up once I go up, I go, this is so high. This table, oh my god, this is pure shaking.
And that's the thing nobody ever talks about, because like you do in those moments, you're thinking about a million things. So say when a new song comes on, you might be like, oh, the levels or the mics kind of thing, or you know, if I'm standing on this table, oh, it's shaking a bit, you know. But you can't really show that. You have to kind of be in the moment.
I spend more time just sitting with my head up my backside when I'm working, just enjoying everything. And that. You see, like Nicole will say all the time, she goes like that, your sound is absolutely shite.
Nicole's actually, you can't see her, but she's in the studio with us. Hi.
Go the other half the LNC actually. It's crazy, like you're just, I'm just all over the place. But I'm all over the place, but I know what I'm doing. Like I've got a plan in my head. And I'm like, how do I get to this plan? So just say, for instance, it's a song. Remember DJ Vance? I done a bit of training with him years and years ago. Absolute legendary guy. He taught me, he's like, always be like 4 tracks ahead. And now when you're younger, trying to think. So like, just say for instance, I'm singing a random song here, "Wanna Be" by the Spice Girls, right? I've got the song that I'm going to sing in like 5 songs time. So I'm like 5 songs ahead, 5 songs ahead. Then when you do karaoke, it's like, no, you can't do that. But when you're singing cabaret, because you're like, the way I look at a night is I want the night to flow, what you call it, through the decades, where you'll start somewhere, but at the end you want to end up with a high energy dance music when if they're drinking, when they're all in this party mood, they're going on to the further endeavours, whether it's nightclubs or their after parties or whatever. You want to send them off on an absolute high. But at the start, you don't want them to peak too early. So it's a lot of psychology. Do you know what I mean? Like, entertainers are smarter than what you think.
Yeah, and I think you have this tremendous talent to think very fast. Even when you speak, like, you can say a lot of words really quickly and like form quite articulate sentences. I've like struggled with that, I think, personally.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny you say that, because over the last few years, I speak so fast.
You do.
Like, it's so bad. And I never
But
realised...
it's a good thing, you know, like, it's good to speak fast.
Well, starting with bongos, like,
Yeah.
speaking to them, and they're like, and the people down Liverpool are like, lads, not got a fucking clue what you're saying. and it happens all the time, even to this day.
Is that part of coming from Glasgow, though? Like,
Yeah. Obviously, I come from the East End, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
a glorified Ned.
You're not a Ned.
Aye, no, I'm kidding. It's weird, because I think when you try not to talk fast, you end up talking faster. And it's funny when you're in England as well. Have you ever noticed, if you're ever in England, you always just go 100 miles an hour when you meet another Scottish person?
Yeah, you've actually raised a really good point, and something I've just thought of there. It's a bit like playing an instrument. See, if I'm playing really fast on the saxophone, it becomes muscle memory, and it's just kind of going. But see, if I'm really slowly practicing, I feel like I make more mistakes. Because you're analysing everything that you're doing. So say I'm doing skill practice. Do you do this kind of thing with singing as well, if you're doing practice? So for saxophone or piano or anything, if you're practicing scales, it's kind of applicable to any area of instrumental practice, but scales is just an example. The slower you do it, the more you really have to think and analyse. And I think when you transfer that to kind of conversation and sentences, I think when you talk really slowly, you're kind of constantly analysing the next thing you're going to say. And it makes you kind of overthink your sentences at times.
Yeah, well, obviously, when it comes to use learning stuff, you need to use your head. You need to use how you're controlling the reed. Is my right saying that right? Then your fingers, where your fingers are going to do what the next move is. I'm pure putting this down as if it is nothing, but it's like we're talking into a bit of plastic. So all we need to think about is what's coming out.
That is harder than you think, though. I think, like, see, just talking to a crowd, so many times I pick up the mic and I just go.
Sometimes you can't be bothered, and I love when you do this. Sometimes you can't be bothered putting the mic in, and you just do that. You just lift the microphone up and talk into the microphone.
That's because this is really technical, but the wire that I had on my last mic was really long, and so what I had to try and do was find a way to not make it look messy. So I'd put a lot of it in my pocket. But what that resulted in was just like a really messy mic placement. So I was just trying to kind of like not fix my pocket every 2 seconds. Because it looked like I was checking my phone, like, am I done yet? You know, like.
Oh God, you had that. And that goes back to complacency as well.
Yeah.
Like, I feel as if the last year, and this is me being totally honest,
yeah.
It feels as if the last year is if you ever get the way as if you feel as if you're letting the team down. Like in every sort of aspect, just glued to my phone all the time, and you're like, your head's still in the game, and you're so easily distracted with things where usually you would just be so solar focused. And you see other entertainers that once they've started, they'll go bang, right, and then once they're on the break, they'll have a wee check of their phone and all that. You just get so lackadaisical and just so complacent, and especially when you feel as if you're used to doing stuff, and at the end of the day, you're not actually used to it, because every gig's totally different. You never get 2 gigs the same. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's harder for you though, because you're doing so many different things, and you've probably got so much different admin to do for each of those things, on top of the private bookings, on top of the bandioke and the bongos, and just then you've got that, and then you'll have like sociable texts and stuff as well. But
not really, actually.
No, no. But I think like I've never interpreted that from you as a bad thing. Like, there's certain people where I'm like, okay, that person's just texting kind of thing. Like, but I think everyone knows how busy you are. So like, I think it's just a given that you've got a lot of admin to do, and maybe if you're in a car or something like that, someone's giving you a lift to your next gig, who wouldn't in your position say, right, I'm going to use the next 45 minutes to kind of do all the things that you need to do. I would never say letting the team
but
down.
it comes across dead rude as well, even though I don't mean it. But recently I've been kind of looking at myself and kind of going, right, well, where am I going wrong? How am I annoying people? And obviously you've seen the video posts and stuff like that, and it's like you're just prioritising yourself and your business over every aspect of life. And in turn, it's tearing apart relationships, tearing apart kind of relationship with your family and all that. You're not seeing important people, like your grandparents aren't going to be here forever. Why am I prioritising wee Donna down the road's 40th birthday party where I should be prioritising going up and see my granny for 20 minutes? Do you know what I mean? It's stuff like that which is now starting to hit home. And as I said in my Facebook video, my mum, I took her for lunch and I had to take her to the gig with me so I could just spend a bit more time with her, and it's really stuck in my throat and I can't stop thinking about it. And it kind of pissed me off a wee bit because I was like, that's not really a good son saying, I'll take you for what? I'll take you for lunch, but you have to come with me so I can spend a bit of time with you. So now is the decision being made, just going, well, the 26 Hope Street, Bay Horse, Bongos, that's my bread and butter. I'm not going to, I can't give that up because how do I pay my bills? So that the private functions and stuff, it is something I'm going to have to just take a wee step back from. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that, but I want to do it. But saying yes to too many things and you want to just say yes to everybody, but then you're saying yes to customers where you've got families, family, friends, loved ones that are there phoning you every day, and you're saying no to them all the time, and it's not really fair. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, just to put your mind at ease, I don't think anyone's ever going to hold that against you. I think if you have a awareness, then there's already a kind of, you're definitely not a narcissist. Do you know what I mean? At all. And I also think that it's in the line of what that we do. It was actually a personal trainer that said this to me about being self-employed, and she said, you know, when you are self-employed, you don't know when the next shift's going to be. And a George Michael tribute act I was working with a few weeks ago said a similar thing. It was like feast or famine. And I think we can get so caught up in this, you know, scarcity almost, for like, how long is it going to last? We need to do it all now. And I think there's something to be said for, you know, like not getting complacent, you know, and just, we have a fear of resting on our laurels, but there's always going to be that kind of pendulum swing where if you go too far one way, you know, you might end up missing, you know, important family occasions. And I've done that a little bit this year, and you do feel bad for it. But anytime, you know, you do that, you can just say to them, I'm really sorry, and I don't think
I'm not doing it.
No, but I don't think anyone's ever going to hold it against you.
Yeah,
they understand what you do.
I would like to think so. And what you were saying there about obviously the kind of feast and famine sort of thing, it's like there's a difference between passion and desperation.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're out saying yes to everything, you're looking desperate because you're not desperate. But we're all fortunate enough, like the guys from the Glasgow All Stars know that we're busy. We're busy, work hard, but the difference is we all work together as well. So if just say for instance I can't do a gig, I'll phone Nicole, Jane Henderson, I'll phone somebody, and I'll say to them, can you put this in your diary, or can you do this, because you share it between everybody because there's enough work for everybody.
Yeah. And it's nice to have the good relationships with those people that they can understand if you have something coming up, and that could be kind of a consolation in future.
No, well, they just say no. Usually, we're usually all that busy. But
that's not very helpful. But yeah, no, I totally feel what you're saying, and it's 100% valid. But you just have to rest assured that nobody's going to be privately, you know, if people are close to you. This isn't even music related, but if anyone, you know, is close to you and they have a problem, they will tell you. You know, they would definitely never privately. I know, and it's easy to overthink. You're like, I've upset this person, I've upset, but you know, good friends and good family will keep you right. And if no one has actively said to you, yeah, Lee, you're this or that kind of thing, then you've got nothing to worry about. You know, you're already...
Have they? Say nothing.
You can't say it just now.
As George Michael says, you've got to have faith. So no, it's good, but obviously in turn with entertainment as well, there's 99% positives, but the 1% negative is always sticks in your throat. Like, for instance, going out after work it just takes over your life because you end up out every night.
Really?
Yeah, and like I don't know, I feel as if it started to change me as a person because all I do is want to just go out and you go right. I'm finishing work, then I'm going to go to a said bar. I won't name them for legal purposes. No joke. Usually go down to Kettle Shays or go up to Malone's, and you know it's bad when the bouncers know you. You know it's bad when the bouncers know you. You walk in, they go, "Oh, you're here again," and then you're like that. Jesus Christ, I'm just coming out to chill after my work.
Mm-hmm.
But that aspect of chilling after your work is every day, and you're going, nah, enough's enough. So either change the habit or change the person, so the habit's getting changed.
Well, there's subtle ways you could replace it. Like, so say you just enjoy, or if you're on a high from being out after work, there's maybe some, I mean...
Bed,
yeah. No, but if you
A good
feel like,
reason.
oh, the night's still young kind of thing, like, you could maybe go to those places and try not to drink. That's very easier said than done, though.
Yeah, but I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's good.
2 weeks, yeah.
That's good.
He's total like Elton John.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go
How
to
are you
rehab.
finding it?
Great.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, yeah. The good thing is that there's obviously I like a beer and I like a Guinness. So you just drink the zeros. It's the exact same thing happens. You go, oh, that was lovely. Do you know what I mean? So that there's
That's
no
good.
actual
Yeah,
big,
exactly.
massive
It's just
difference.
like if it's the kind of social aspect, you don't have to deprive yourself. It's a bit like if you go on a diet or something. I heard the statistic, and it's like 95% of people that go on like a hardcore diet end up getting the weight back. So like if you completely deprive yourself of something, then you're just going to be miserable. So like you can still go to those places if it's the social aspect and the fact that you're kind of like, because one of the things that are quite hard that not a lot of people talk about is when you finish gigging, and then you go back home, you still feel wide awake. So it can be really hard to sleep.
You
know?
can't.
You
It's
can't. No.
impossible.
I hear bits and pieces. No, actually, I'll tell you a funny story. So, a few days ago, I'd had a really busy weekend. No, what day is it today? Actually, this would have been Saturday. Actually, it was Saturday night. I had a dream, and it was a function, and beside the PA system there was a bed. And that was my bed. I was trying to sleep, and what happened was people kept coming up to me as I was trying to sleep, and they were saying, "Can you play bits and pieces?" And I was like, "Listen, I'm trying to sleep." You know, I'm the next kids, and they're like, "No, but you don't understand," you know.
Nobody understands. It needs to be done just now. It needs to be done just now.
Exactly.
I
And this
think-
drunk guy, I was like, "Fine, I'll get up," and then I woke up like ready to play, and I realised it was a dream, and I was like, "Come on!" But
that is fantastic.
sleeping it is hard to sleep, and so I suppose going back to that initial point, like if you're in the zone and you're like wide awake, it's going to be difficult to just break that habit. So like maybe try and just gently, you know, if it's the drink that's bothering you, you could just say, right, I'm just gonna go for the social
It's
aspect.
not. I mean, yeah. I mean, it all just depends to personal preference. But it just eats into the next day. But it's good going for the music aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was flown so well done. You just ruined it.
No, it's fine. We would listen. We can just cut the next 10 seconds
It's,
out. Yeah.
it's just goes into that's a condenser.
No, it's fine. It's authentic. You know, it's fine.
I move about. That's my
You
thing.
do move about. I'll ask a question so we can get back on the 3.
Well done, Nicole.
It's fine, right? I'll ask another question. So you've been doing quite a lot of stuff I've seen recently with the band Aoki. You had a really cool launch for that. How did it go?
Mate, it's been class.
Yeah.
It's been class. Obviously, we'd started initially in Berlinkies, and it was like the first Glasgow resident band. Now, I know that that kind of comes up with several questions, but we were there every week, working hard. And then we depart when me and or Giza Tune, or then now Giza Tune, would you call it?
Giza tune.
Ask that question again.
I have no idea what the question was.
You do a lot and then.
Oh, right. Do you want to go right back?
Aye,
Okay.
go
Yeah,
right
that's
back to
fine.
the
That's
question
absolutely fine. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So I've seen you've been doing quite a lot of stuff. One of the things that you've been doing is the band Aoki.
Yes.
How did that go?
So initially we'd started it in Berlinkies for them opening, and we were there every Thursday, and it was like one of the first kind of resident things in Glasgow, because you've got Band Aoki Scotland that now do it in Berlinkies. They kind of used to tour about, used to do some gigs in Arthur and stuff, but I'd never seen anything resident. I was like, I'm going to do that, and seeing how different Band Aoki's work, like the guys in Liverpool at Dive Bar and all that, I was like, I felt as if it was just missing like a host and something to keep it going, because when with stuff like that, it's so intimidating. It's all right for like the likes of us. We can just go up, grab a mic, grab a sax and play because that's our job. But Leslie, who's in her third year at art school doing art, I mean, her going up to sing Valerie is a pretty big deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of try to, my outlook on it is, if I try and make it like a house party where you've got somebody's annoying uncle being on stage going, right, come on up, where's your right up, you get like stuff like that, it kind of makes them try and cool down a wee bit and chill them out.
Yeah. Do you know, it's so interesting that you say that. I'm not going to name this person. Not that it's anything bad, right?
Name drop and go for it.
I'm not doing it. Well, one, I don't even know the name. I just know it was a person that was a teacher and had taught for like years in all these prestigious environments, but they hadn't done a gig in like 12 years. And they went up and done it, and they were so nervous. And I think it's just amazing that, you know, like we kind of take for granted we can go up, you more so, and just feel no nerves and just do it. Whereas for many people, even trained kind of professionals, hypothetically, they still feel really nervous. And I think because we're in that environment so much, the nerves aren't really there. Mm-hmm. Whereas for a lot of people, for most people, you know, public speaking or public performing or anything's just a really nerve-wracking experience.
It's a good laugh, but isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're finished, it's a good laugh.
Yeah.
I just love seeing all the different walks of life, man. You're like, you see people and they'll come in and they'll like, you get like the young boys and girls, so they're apprentices and they come in with their, like they've spent their full wages on these designer stuff, and they walk in like all prim and proper, like, oh, look at me, I like flipping my Balenciagas and all that, like, and then at the end of the night they're the ones that are an absolute mess. They've got the VBLs spilled on them. It's amazing when you see all the different walks of life that kind of come into these venues and pubs and what do you call halls? Is halls that we call them?
I have no idea.
We'll go with it anyway.
Right, okay. But it's interesting, and I think those type of people tend to get the most kind of like wrecked, I suppose, because it's a release. A good example is actually my mum yesterday.
Was your mum a baby?
Oh, it was so fun. I've never seen her that bad fever. It was an event I was playing at for someone in Coatbridge, and in the morning she was like, I'm probably not going to drink that much, you know, and it's going to be fine. And she came home and I was pure helping her, like she was being sick and stuff, and I've never seen my mum in that state.
I've never seen my mum be sick, but you know, my mum's drunk when she starts singing. She only sings 2 songs. One of the songs we'll not speak about, but the other one's Stupid Cupid.
Right.
And it's people will obviously relate to this, the family parties, the bottle of Budweiser or the bottle of Miller, the bottle of Beck's, whatever the cheapest was, will get turned upside down, and that's your microphone for the night.
Yeah. I think it also helps because in our bloodline we're all lightweights, so it's very quick to get drunk and it's very cheap. And
I've never actually seen you drink a juice. I've only ever seen you drink water. That annoys me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It just irritates me. Like, how can you put a wee bit of orange diluted juice or something in your?
Well, my go-to is actually milk, but I wouldn't always drink that publicly.
No, I probably avoid that. Because I look like anytime you come into a gig, anytime we're gigging, do you want me just in your lap? No, just a water. Like, great.
Well, one, I just think it's the best you can have. But secondly, like on a kind of more alcoholic level, I've always had a fear of being drunk in environments.
Oh, so you do drink out? You do drink in the room with the door locked?
Yeah, well, no. I drink on occasion in like one-to-one environments. But I always...
So dates, when you're going out on dates?
Yeah, I suppose. But like I wouldn't tend to drink in kind of one, professional environments. I wouldn't drink with people that I'm working with. And 2, like if I'm in a group environment, I don't tend to drink. And I know that's
I've never done
weird.
that in my life.
No
professional.
No. I don't know. I just have a fear of looking like an idiot. You know, I know I'm really stupid when I'm drunk, and I just don't want to share that with the world. So, like, if I can just keep it to a few people,
enough.
you know.
I respect that.
Yeah, but I just try and look as clean as possible. But I think to a degree, I do kind of fall into that more overthinking category than you. Like, you can walk into there and be like, hey, I'm Lee, you know, everything's fine. But, like, I do fall into the overthinker. So I think, like, if I'm drinking, that kind of goes away. Yeah. So it's kind of a fear of what I'll be like when I'm not, you know. socially on guard, for lack of a better term. You know, I don't want to go up to people or employers or like colleagues and like ask them stupid questions and stuff like that. So,
What is your stupid question? I
I
can imagine you asking something like,
do you believe in aliens or something
aye,
like that? Yeah.
aye, like, what's your favourite GTA game?
Yeah.
To be fair, that is a great question.
My brother still slags me because it was someone, I don't have any recollection of this, but I think it was a uncle, and we were having a semi-serious conversation, and then I don't remember this, but it was like, have you ever played Sonic the Hedgehog? And then started talking about that. So it's more kind of childish than like...
Yeah, you would instantly lose my interest with that. I would.
Well,
probably,
that's the thing,
I'd
yeah.
probably go like, oh, I need to go and then walk away. Not to be rude, just I don't have the answer. I don't have the answers
that's
for you.
fine. No, I kind of gravitate towards those interests. You know, kind of more like nerdy stuff, Star Wars and like gaming and all that. You don't tend to find that in our environment, so.
No, definitely not. I mean,
all the more reason not to drink.
I'll sit all night and talk about work.
Yeah.
But then people must be like that. Like, see, when they speak to me, they must be like that. Lee, shut up. Like, it's because it's constant. It's constant.
Well, it's high energy, you know, and it's good. You know what I mean? You've got like this puppy energy. You're like, hi, everyone, be my friend kind of thing. And that's nice. No. You don't enter with this kind
I'm
of
begging
like...
you. Bring up
No, but it's not begging and it's not obnoxious. You're just a very friendly person. And, you know, like some people that are really introverted, maybe like, oh, you know, but like, that's not a bad thing. It's just not your type of person. Everyone has their own temperament and you're going to match with certain people and you're not going to match with others. And that's okay, you know. Don't know where I was going with that.
Is that you just kind of, have you kind of fell into the bracket of like, right, I am an introvert?
I don't know. I go back and forth on it because I feel like people say, right, extrovert's the good one and introvert's the bad one. I disagree with that like wholeheartedly. But I also
That's because you're an introvert.
Right. But also because it's like, what is an introvert or an extrovert? My definition for that, and you can tell me what yours is. An extrovert is someone that draws energy from being with people. So it's like you like being in social environments and you feel charged, whereas an introvert is someone that draws energy from within, introvert kind of thing. And so you have like a social battery that will die over time, whereas an extrovert is someone that social battery will be enhanced the more they're with people. That to me is the big difference.
I would disagree.
I would disagree.
I don't know, it's like, I don't know, is it just you get older? Like, say, like, the older your phone gets, the faster your charge goes out.
Oh, fair.
But like, I just get tired all the time now. But like, it depends what circumstances you're in. So say when you're working, you're that kind of involved in everything. You're enjoying it that much where you can get the energy off the crowd. But then you'll get to a stage like, for instance, last night, I went in a wee bit earlier and started earlier just to cover for someone. And by the time about 9:30 came, I was like, I'm exhausted. And it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter how much you tried. The extrovert was an introvert. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose that's
bipolar. That's what they call it.
That's a working environment, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a thing called ambivert, which means I think most people would be this, to be honest, where you're kind of in the middle, and that's
just
fine.
Like a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But what was I going to say there? That's really annoying. Yeah, I think you don't have to pure bind yourself to one or the other. There'll be moments, but I think the instance you're describing is kind of like a working environment. So I think the real test of character is in social environments, you know, like works, nights out, or, you know, if your pals are saying, hey, let's go for a drink or something like that. If your immediate reaction is, yes, I'm there, then you're probably an extrovert. Whereas if you're like, nah, I'd rather just sit in and play Sonic, you're probably an introvert, you know, so.
Yeah, not probably, that's like, 100% you are. It's quite funny, just like every time I've met you, it's like you just get a wee bit more and a wee bit more of Matthew Ruddy. Like
you do become the most, you do become the people you associate with. So there's probably energy that you're kind of putting out that I'm kind of harnessing, and I'm probably becoming a bit more Lee, you know.
First time I met you, hi, I'm Lee, you're a sax player. You just replied, my name's Matthew, and yes.
Quite formal,
and then just walked away, and I was like,
I don't remember that. Like, maybe I was drunk then. Who knows? You know,
you weren't. You were sober.
Okay.
And
I have
nervous.
no idea. Well, yeah, probably. But I always was quite formal when I was just starting out. 'Cause I feel like that's your default. Everyone has their default kind of personalities that you revert to in nervous situations. And I think if I'm ever nervous or experiencing something for the first time, I tend to be really formal. That's just what I do, you know. But the more you know me, the more I'm less that.
The funny thing is, your laces weren't tied. I know you just put your shoes on, but it's funny when you're trying to go formal and you're walking about with your laces undone.
I have no memory of this whatsoever.
But see, this is a weird thing. I've got this weird memory, but I'll remember like the most stupidest of things that doesn't really make a difference.
No, but they do say that. Like, I think because probably I was in a state wherever this was where I was really nervous, I'm not going to remember every detail. Whereas I think if it's a memory for you that you were kind of like not nervous for it all and you have a kind of clear picture of what it was, you'll remember it more accurately.
Well, if it's any consolation, every gig I've done with you smash it out the park.
Woohoo! Thank you.
And Nicole
You
said the
too.
same. She smashed it as well, didn't she? Was it Lafferty's? Aye, absolutely class, mate. You're brilliant.
Thank you so much. You too. I'm going to shake your hand for that. Thank you.
Yeah, man, no worries.
Yeah,
That's
speaking of like, I'll transfer. Speaking of like gigs and stuff, memorable. Have you ever had any memorable gigs that you're like that was really good and you hold on to it forever?
I'll tell you for one that I'll never forget.
Okay.
My good friend Liam Dolan does the Liam Dolan show this year. It's the 30th year. Get your tickets now to Pavilion Theatre sometime in February, maybe March. And last year 29 there, I'd made my granny promises that this is what I would do, and one of them was to play the Pavilion, and he gave me that opportunity, and it was like the best experience in my career. Nothing will ever beat that, because it was the final promise that I'd made my granny that I would do. It was just a shame she obviously wasn't here to see it, but that nothing will beat that. And I don't think that Liam actually realised how much it actually meant to me. Do you know what I mean? Just to do a good job and just to...
Do you know, it's funny, every time I've asked that question to someone, I've expected a really superficial answer. But, the crowd were amazing and the lights were cool DJ, I loved the songs and I sounded really good. But it's always something sentimental.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Those are the ones that stick out to you, you know, and it's nice that you kind of keep your soul that way. Those are the ones that you remember out of everything when life is so fast.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you could turn around, you could say, Bongos Bingo, down the Blackpool Tower Ballroom. Oh, it was amazing. It was a great experience. But yeah, every gig should be that. Every gig should be as memorable as the other as the next one.
And some, I suppose, you'll relate to this if you have a few a day, you can't enjoy the one that you're at because you're thinking of the next one, that's not a good.
Yeah, that's why I am now calming down and taking a step back, because it's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is it's not financial reasons that you're doing the 1 and 2.
No.
You're doing it because you don't want to let people down.
I think you can understand why up and coming people make that mistake. You know, they're like, oh, more money, brilliant, you know. Yeah. But then when you do it, you realise you probably don't put on that good a show. And there were people that were really looking forward to that you've messed that up for now. Not that you've ever done that. But just like
thanks, mate. I wouldn't say necessarily messed up. Now, when you're young, you're up and coming. Like, if I could give any advice, am I allowed to give advice? Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
I was actually going to ask you that.
Oh, really? Sorry. If I could give any young person advice just starting out, is get the gig count under your belt. Get it while you're young, because I mean, when you're first coming in, you can't charge. You can't charge like
a lot of money.
There's certain DJs that are going out, they're making a couple of grand for weddings. Quite rightly so. They're the best in the business. They're the reason why people are going home happy with smiles on their faces. How do you get to that level? You get to that level because you work your ass off. You do everything you possibly can. You learn everything you possibly can off of everybody. Now, I remember Tony Bennett. Well, the hearing, I don't know Tony Bennett, rip. So that means RIP, doesn't matter. Dead. Tony Bennett said to Michael Bublé, you steal off of everybody. If you steal off of everybody, you're learning. It's research. But if you steal off of one person, you're a thief. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you learn different things off everybody. I learned stuff off of Vans, Chris Taylor, Steph Gilmore, Tommy Gray. And when it came to singing as well, your mates, you go and listen to Cole Caldwell, go and listen to Jane Henderson, go and listen to Jubilee stuff. John McIntyre is the mate. See the amount I've stole off that guy, and he doesn't even know it. John, if you're watching, I'm sorry. But you just hear how people's vocal arrangements and all that. The glass are coming off that side, not serious. People's vocal arrangements and all that, and how they do things, and you're like, I would never have thought of that.
Yeah.
Because the creative mind, creative industries is the best industry to be in, best industry for creative people, because not only are you friends with these people, but you're sitting having a conversation, you're sitting there watching your mates work, right? Watching your mates work, who are your main inspirations, who you love, who you absolutely admire, who when you're going out a night out, you would be out with them, but if they're singing, you will go to see them.
Yeah.
And you're watching them doing stuff like that, and you're going, nah, that's class. This is class. That's class. He smashed it there. I'm stealing this. I can't steal that because my vocal ability doesn't reach that. However, if I put it down a couple of keys, right, I'll try that, right. Nah, it didn't really work. I could put that up a couple of keys. You're then practicing to get up to that range. So you're going, right, I'll start that song 4 keys down, and then I'll go up to 2 keys. Right, maybe right. I'll just stick that down at 1 key. That's where my voice is comfortable. Stuff like that. But then you're learning all the time. So then you're improving. So if you're young and you're starting out, get your £60 gigs under your belt. Get your £40 gigs. Because see, the £40 gigs is what gets you the £2,000, £3,000 weekends that a lot of the entertainers are getting just now. You know what I mean?
And the earlier you start, the better.
Yeah.
I think.
Look at young Keir Small.
Yeah.
Young Keir Small's been here about a year, and he's the next up and coming. Taking over for me, raging. No, I'm joking.
No, I don't think.
But no, I'm all serious. He's such a great young guy with a lot of great morals, and he's the songs he sings what he wants, and everybody loves him for it because it's all the big band swing stuff and all that. And I'm telling you just now, in the next 10 years, if he's not took over this circuit, there's going to be a massive problem because he is that young boy's going to be absolutely class. He is class. He's
it's nice to hear you speak so positively about people. And you know, it really shows how secure you are in what you do. And the reason that I bring that up is because I'm just fresh before this having a conversation with someone about teachers, actually. And it wasn't just music related, or even in the profession, but it's the idea that you have a lot of teachers out there that are saying, you know, I wasn't allowed my shot, so you're not allowed yours. You might have some musicians that are very bitter about like the lack of experience or the lack of opportunity, and so they'll do everything to gatekeep what they have. But in my experience, some of the best teachers I've ever had were the ones that went out and done so much and they felt ready to give back. And you kind of scream that aura of like, I'm really happy with the things that I've done, and you know, the fact that you're promoting so many people, it shows that you've worked organically for the things that you've got and you're ready to help other people kind of get there.
There's enough work for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like the people that like me might not like them. The people that like them might not like me. That's okay. That's allowed. People have their opinions. People are allowed to choose what they want because at the end of the day, they've worked fucking hard for that money. So they'll pick what they want, and that needs to be respected. However, I'll sit and I'll listen to people tarnish everybody's name and look for things that they possibly can. What they need to do is they need to get a grip and they need to realise, see if it wasn't for these said entertainers, that gig that you've double booked, and we've all done it, I done it a couple of weeks ago. It was the first time I've ever truly messed up a gig and I still feel bad for it.
Yeah.
Right? But for this time I couldn't get anybody to cover because it was last minute. I got called onto a job and I jumped at it forgetting that I thought I had it the week later. A total mess. And it was all my fault, right? All my fault. But you've double booked a gig and you go onto Sharon Nimmo's gigs direct page and you go, I need urgent cover. This needs covered. And one of these people that you're sitting standing on the name for has just put you out a hole. But do we just forget about that because you want to now badmouth them because you're jealous? Do you know what I mean? What's the point in jealousy if we're all working together?
I think it's a good judge of character. If you see someone, and don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with objective critique. If you play a song and you know say it wasn't your best, and someone says I agree that wasn't great, I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. But I think if it's just needlessly looking for you to slip up and it's not related in any way to your performance and it's all about an attack on your character, that's something you should avoid.
Yeah, because a lot is bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of it's just non-tangible. It's completely name-calling.
People that have opinions on, and I'm not saying for everybody because I know through industry and stuff like that, things happen, problems happen, clashes happen, stuff like that. But a lot of these, you get fairly young, fairly new entertainers with agencies and all that. They've got everything to say about everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of them will go and hit the shot about people's rates. Like, my rates are different from your rates. What right have I got to tell you what you should charge? Because
Yeah,
you know
very true.
your own worth within your own right, and it's not for the scale going up, it's the scale going both ways. Or I wouldn't book him. He only charges this. He only charges that because that's what he might be comfortable
It's
with.
funny that though, because I think there is something to be said for like there is this kind of stigma. If someone is really expensive, it means they must be really good, and then other people feel if someone's charging a lot less, purely because they're just not confident to charge more, it's then a case of they must be terrible.
It's a psychological thing.
It is.
On the other side, a lot of people charge. Just say that they'll look at the 95th percentile. They'll go, what's the 95th percentile doing? Right, what I'll do is I'll undersell myself by 25%, because if I undersell myself by 25%, I'll get 25% more income. But then what you're doing is you're working more for the same. You're working more for the same money, and then that leads me back to the is it quality or quantity? What are you looking to achieve by being in this industry? Being in any industry, not just being in entertainment, not just being on a stage. If you're a lighting tech, if you work in a gym, what are you looking to achieve here? Are you looking to achieve getting as many people on as possible, which means your workload's harder, which means your family's then going to have to take a step back, because that's the stage I'm at now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've not done it for the money. I've done it for the fact that I just love this job, but I also love my family more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As much as this job will always be the best thing to ever happen to me, the love I've got for the friends I've made from it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been so good to me getting the chance to work with the guys at Bongos.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like meeting these people up and down the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can literally go to near enough any city and there's somebody you can phone and go, do you want to go for a drink? Want to go for something to eat? Let's get a catch up. And they're all the guys who Bongos, obviously it's not my thing to talk about, but since joining Bongos, everybody's also nice, and they're just lads wanting to have fun and enjoy what they're doing. Like Johnny Cole and Callum and stuff, like doing content. They've got their own podcast, Bongos. If you want to hear anything about it, I would really jump on and listen to them, because everything's all just so positive. For a group of people, a mass of that Bongos Bingo is, everybody's so nice. Yeah, the nicest people I've ever met. Do you know what I mean? And that is impossible. I've never seen it before, because there's not anybody that I would look and go, don't really like them. I would literally sit down with any one of them and just sit and have a chat and have a good laugh. It's probably the best experience of my life, being a part of that, and getting
really
to meet all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's class.
So you've told us a lot about the present and the stuff that you're working on. Is there anything in the future that you're really excited about, that you can talk about just now?
I mean, there's things. Classic on off again. You know, there's things that are, there's so much I want to do. I want to release another Glasgow All Stars track for charity.
Okay.
That's something I would really like to do this year. But obviously with people's personal lives and stuff like that, everybody's busy. Justine's pregnant and stuff like that, so the kid will be coming soon. So but I want the same people to do it, because at the end of the day, we're all a big group of friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For this year, I want to start prioritising myself, if I'm honest with you. So instead of kind of creating projects and taking more work on, I just kind of want to have more good experiences, going away places for a couple of days, going in and finding kind of happiness back in my life out with work. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you totally deserve it, because you're easily one of, if not the busiest performer that I know. Like, when you're working 7 days a week, how long have you been doing that for?
I mean, like, when you say working 7 days a week, like, you're not on a stage 7 days a week, but on a Monday, Tuesday.
No, yeah, but you're in the zone. Like, it will take its toll. You know, there's the physical aspect, there's the admin, there's the phone calls that you have to do, there's meetings that you'll have to go to, making set lists and stuff. Like, it does build up, you know, and so, like, if you're kind of saying, I just want a break from a lot of that stuff, now it's totally valid, you know?
Yeah. It's, I don't know, it's really, it gets stressful at times, and I can you bottle up, keep going, and then you get to a time you're like that. Remember, we done Stereo Funk with Stevie Lennon and Fergie and all that, and I travelled up from Middlesbrough, but this is what you're taking so much on. Travelled up from Middlesbrough at 5:30 in the morning, went straight to the festival. I was there until about 5 o'clock. I went from stereo funk to SWG3, and towards the end I was like, I need a seat. My legs, I was just physically, mentally burnt out, and I'm so scared to get back to that stage again.
Yeah.
Because I had to take a few days off. I couldn't speak. I was so ill. I was so ill, and get this stage, make that post and saying that just now, it's just kind of like, I just kind of want to get my life back. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no, even though my job's fun, and don't get, you know how much I love this shit, right? This is fucking class. But I'm like, does it need to be loud music and high energy like all the time? Like, can I mean,
maybe you could try it. Just go into a gig and just sing and just don't jump on tables.
You know that's not going to happen.
No, it's
you're not going to. No, it's not gonna,
okay.
And I'm just talking like just kind of in general life, because my relationships with so many people are just getting kind of washed under the bridge, and they're going away and living the lifestyle like that. But what's the point in my best mates? What's the point in phoning Cammy, because he's always working? Do you know what I mean? I had my mate's birthday's coming up in September, and he's like, "You'll probably not be able to make it, but I would love it if you could." And I'm looking at that, I'm going, "No, do you know what? I will fucking make it. I will take the time off to go and do it, because it's all right going and making yourself available for your customers and your clients and being there 100%. But what about the people that phone you every day? Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm just like that. I need to start kind of shifting my priorities over and actually start to get a wee bit of enjoyment with my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think maybe one of the challenges will be whenever you do have a free space in the diary and you get an inquiry, is that kind of urge to be like, no. Is not the urge, that's not the right word. It's the kind of, you have to fight that urge. It is the word. That's
what happens if this was all a big money plan and I was only kidding on? Know what I mean?
I don't know.
I was only kidding on, but then people are like that. Oh, I feel bad for them and all that. I'm like, oh, no,
well, then what I would ask in that scenario is, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on LeeCammy _ on Instagram, or on Facebook at Lee Cammy, but please don't book me. No, I'm only kidding. Again, of course, see, listen,
you're the only person I've ever met.
I'm only joking. As a joke.
Yeah.
If I've got if I've got availability and it's like doing 2, 3, 4 gigs a day, and all that, I can't do it. I mentally and physically can't do it anymore. Just for just now, anyway. At least, you know what I mean? Like, my priorities need to be your Hope Street Bay Horse, needs to be Bongos Bingo, because at the end of the day, that pays my bills. That's what makes the Lee Cammy clocks turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll have to close soon, but I just want to finish in saying, like, put your mind at ease. Nobody thinks you're a bad person.
Oh, I know. No, I'm joking.
No, nobody thinks, and everyone understands that you're trying to do the right thing, and like juggling so many things is the hard part. Is building all this, right? The hard part, like when you're saying about the up and coming person and the person who's needing to get all those gigs under the belt. You worked really hard to get to this stage. You've had so much to work for, and now you're getting to a very healthy kind of point in your life where it's like, okay, I don't need to do it now. I know it's there. So I'd say it's just a natural transition. So I don't think you really have to beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm not going to lie. It's horrible as it is. I'm actually not. I'm not beating myself up because I'm just like, I'm looking forward to like I'm going on holiday in September.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be there for you when you get back. Yeah. You know, it's not like, I mean, when you're starting out, there's always that fear of, I don't know if it's going to be here next year, but I think we're kind of past that point now. I think some form of entertainment's always going to be there. And
everybody loves when you blow that sax, Matthew. I love it. So does everybody else. You love it, big man. And you know what? Listen, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's right. Yeah. It doesn't mean you won't be inconvenienced at times with like travel and like and all of that stuff, but
so part of the game, baby.
Yeah, exactly. You get up and you do it. And you have to kind of look on the
in moderation. I mean, when I say I'm like taking a break and I need to cancel gigs and all that, I'm still going to be gigging like 4 or 5 nights a week. I'm still going to be. I'm not disappearing off the face of the earth.
It's the difference between you doing like 5 gigs a week and like 13. Do you know what I mean?
You'll just not catch me in Kitty O'Shea's till 3 a.m. That's
right.
not happening.
And that's totally valid. So yeah, just to put your mind at ease, everything is going to be okay, and I think you already know that.
Yeah,
so
we're all good.
That's it.
But thanks, mate.
Thanks so much for talking.
Talking about
it's been an absolute pleasure. No, it's been very informative. So thank you so much.
Can I tell them to like and subscribe?
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. subscribe, baby.
Thanks, guys.